Harry! Rex. Looks as though I'll be delayed. Make yourself at home. Anything you want, scratch round. I hope to be with you in 2 or 3 hours. Try the scotch on the bottom shelf. It's the real McCoy, the 8-year-old malt. Ciao.
Harry? Room service? Aikman Suite. Would you send up a small carafe of anise sec, please? Yes, with some crudité. Thank you. Oh, and a small portion of chips. French fries, if you prefer it, yes. Thank you. Yes?
Esther.
Good morning.
Are you all right? You sound strange.
I'm just finishing my breakfast.
Oh, I see. I finished your chart. You'd like to send George over?
You wouldn't like to bring it up, would you? Esther. Esther.
Sounds silly, but I've never met Mr. Aikman.
Never?
No.
How long have you worked for him?
3 months.
You must have seen him, surely.
I've never laid eyes on him. Not before today.
When you came in normally, where would he be?
In the bathroom, in bed or out.
Suppose he wanted to tell you something, give you some instructions. How would he do that?
He'd leave a message on that tape machine. First time he gave me a terrible shock.
Who was with you when you found the body?
No one. I've never seen a naked man before.
You're married, aren't you?
Yes? What's that got to do with it?
Nothing. Nothing. Who's George?
That's George Thompson. That's Mr. Aikman's chauffeur.
And Esther?
Esther?
Yes.
I've never heard of her.
Ever seen these before?
No.
Why would a rich man, a very rich man indeed, wear shoes like these?
I don't know.
Anyway, who wears pointed shoes? I wouldn't be seen... Mr. Shelby.
Inspector Bradley. Thank you. This is a terrible business.
Terrible.
Was it suicide?
No note.
Ah, an accident, perhaps?
Perhaps.
All things being equal,
Yes.
I'm instructed that the management would prefer an accident. Infinitely prefer it.
Heart?
If it could be arranged. As it's so difficult to park, I've asked the ambulance to come round the back.
The delivery area.
Yes. Is that all right?
Oh, fine. How long had he been resident here?
4 years.
4 years, and he leaves with the potato peelings. Still, one wouldn't want the luncheon trade disturbed, would one?
Regrettable as it may be, one has to think of these things.
Doesn't one?
It's sad, but it's a fact of life. The king is dead, long live the king, etc.
Pity he wasn't a midget. You could have carried him out in a beer crate.
You joke.
You noticed. Tell me about Mr. Aikman.
Kept very much to himself. Rich, Ça va sans dire.
Nouveau, sir?
Of course, as you understand, it's hardly for me to comment.
Well, you'd have to be, wouldn't you? Otherwise, he'd never eat these French fries. No salt, no vinegar, no newspaper.
Perhaps Sir didn't ask for them.
If Sir ordered a beer, would Sir have to ask for a glass?
I understand I'm here to assist at the formal identification.
Hmm. You ready?
There's no blood, is there?
No blood. What's wrong?
Well, that's not Rex Aikman.
It's not?
Definitely not. No, it's nothing like him.
Well, who is it?
I don't know. I've never seen him before.
Who is it?
George.
Oh. Hang on. You're not George.
No, I wasn't Rex either. So why you hung up?
Yes.
May I come in?
Give me one good reason.
Police.
This is an access card.
Yes, but I'm in, so it worked. All right, joke over. Inspector Gradley, CID.
Police?
Yes, times are changing. We no longer sport blue serge and silver buttons.
Go on in.
Thank you.
I'll be with you in a minute.
An astrologer.
Don't sound so surprised.
Shouldn't you be in gypsy kit polishing your crystal ball?
No. Next question.
I hear your union is pressing for a unilateral ban on tea bags. Any truth in it?
Bigot or skeptic?
Neither. I just think it's a load of old Taurus. With respect. What's this? The evil eye? Will my hair drop out or my toes fall off?
Aries.
Beg your pardon?
You were born under the sign of Aries.
I was?
Roughly between March the 20th, April 21st.
Hmm.
As a character, I'd say you were resolute, forthright, egotistical, adventurous, details minutiae bore you.
Look, I
and you
haven't
need more patience, especially if you're going to be a good policeman.
Well, I'm not. I've no illusions on that score.
A copper. How did that happen?
3 times a day at least, I'm asked that.
Well, you don't look the part.
Not even to you?
And you didn't learn to talk like that giving evidence in Bow Street.
You're right. My grandfather, bless his ashes, was head of the city force. He left me a nice bit of loot.
Lucky you.
Not quite. Crafty old so-and-so tied it up in a trust. Only qualify for it if I'm still in the force.
Tough.
Oh, could be worse. Plenty of variety. I get the odd phone call. Could be anything from lending my flat to the assistant commissioner.
Oh, yes.
Or coming out to meet intriguing people like you.
Intriguing.
Esther, now that intrigues me for starters.
Simple. It's Assyrian for star.
I remember that. Might come in useful.
Do you suffer from sinus trouble? Aries rules the head. Tendency towards headaches?
Headaches, migraine, the whole bag.
Sudden tempers?
Jones, now that intrigues me also. Bit run-of-the-mill after Esther, isn't it?
Stomach upsets?
Occasionally.
Another good reason for keeping your cool.
All right, so I've got an Aryan-type temper, so what?
Well, the better you understand your own faculties, the better you can apply them.
Sinus.
Still skeptical?
Yes, but less than I was 5 minutes ago. What's the sign for Aries?
The ram?
That's indicative of something, isn't it?
Not that I know of. Where did you find it?
We'll come to that. Did you report it missing?
Of course not.
Not even to your insurance people?
No.
Why, of course not. I mean, it's solid silver, almost brand new.
It wasn't lost.
No?
No, it was misplaced.
I see. Correction, I don't see. If you didn't know where it was, then it was missing.
I took it off.
Where?
Aikman's? Rex Aikman's?
Smart.
Not really. We've just come from there by Trumbo's the Jeweller's Sew. QED, that's where I left it.
Astrology?
Grey matter. I got some ink on my fingers. I took it off to wash my hands and I put it on the shelf over the basin, yes?
I still think it's a pretty cavalier way to behave.
And what were you doing there?
There was a man in Aikman's bath.
Oh, I didn't know he was like that.
A dead man.
Well, that's worse. Who was he?
That's the point.
Sorry.
We don't know.
Well, how did he get there?
Same answer. Unless you have some suggestions.
Me?
You. You're too late. It's in the mortuary.
Who the hell are you?
Inspector Bradley, CID. I'm in charge of this inquiry.
I'm Rex Aikman. What are you doing here?
Reconstructing the crime.
No, don't know him from Adam.
How do you think he got in?
I've no idea.
How many keys are there?
I have two. My chauffeur, George, has one. Obviously, the hotel keep one.
Do they own these penthouses?
No, they service them.
A man, totally unknown to you, gets into your penthouse. How, we don't know. Why, we don't know. He runs himself a bath, climbs into it, and dies. Or kills himself. Why?
That's your department, Inspector.
Quite. I was just repeating it, the salient facts, to see if they sounded any less bizarre.
Did they?
Not a jot. Oh, one last thing, sir. When I first came in today, I couldn't help noticing there was a damp stain on the carpet. About there.
Yes.
I'd say it was malt whiskey.
So?
I couldn't help noticing you don't keep any malt. Yours is all blended.
That's a little more of the bazaar for you, Inspector. Now, if you don't mind, I've been away for a few days. I have some work to do.
Of course. Oh, just for the record, sir. Where were you?
Radcliffe Hall.
Oh, the health farm.
That's right.
Oh, lose much?
£5.
Dandelion shoots as good as ever.
Out of this world.
They do say it's the celery crumbs that do the trick.
Do they really? I didn't know that.
Why did you go straight to the bathroom when you came in?
Why?
Yes. Why didn't you take your coat off first or answer your correspondence? That special delivery looks fascinating. The telex here has been tickering away like crazy. And yet, no, you went straight to the bathroom. Why?
If the doorman downstairs told you that a corpse had been found in your bath, wouldn't you want to see?
Point taken, sir.
There's a word for people like you.
Beautiful morning.
Close friends and clients only on Sundays.
Which am I?
Neither. I keep looking in the bath, and all I've come up with so far is a spider.
It's more than I've managed.
No mention of an early arrest. Do you know who he is yet?
No? Do you want to see his picture?
Why?
Well, why not? Everyone else in London seems to have seen it. Do you know who it is?
You know very well I do.
No, I don't. Honestly. Who is it?
It's my husband.
One of the best educated men I never met. Eton, Harrow, Winchester, Rodine, MCC... Rodine?
He just went out on Sunday evening.
Did he say where?
No.
Nice bit of pigskin. Once. Did he get a call from anyone?
No.
What time did he go?
Quite late, about 10:30. I thought that he'd gone to stretch his legs, out for some smokes. We never even said goodbye.
Was he wearing his best suit?
His one and only.
Was he fit? No heart trouble, anything like that?
No.
How long have you been living together?
Who said anything about that?
Business so bad you cry when you lose a customer?
No, but he was a good friend.
No sheets on the bed, no pajamas, no razor, dust everywhere. Place has been living for months.
About a year.
Tell me about him.
He was the sort of man who... I'm not a good chooser. It's the story of my life. If I bet on the hare in a dog race, it'd come in last. But he was the best, the kindest, the most considerate.
Did you know he was married?
Only a name. They hadn't been together for years.
Oh. How did he make his money?
What money?
Well, such as it was.
Part-time barman at the George. He helped the locals out with some of their bookkeeping.
Odd combination, isn't it? Pints and halves and pounds and
Oh,
pence.
but he used to be a top accountant. West End offices. He showed me them once. Conduit Street. Very swish.
What went wrong?
He didn't tell me. It could have been...
Did he drink malt whiskey?
Opportunity'd be a fine thing.
About 300. Holes in his shoes, darns in his trousers, a few stolen fags, and 300 quid in a suitcase.
And there's a beautiful aspect to Jupiter in your 8th house.
Which is that?
Well, apart from being known as the house of death, it has to do with financial arrangements, business agreements, taxes, debts, etc.
So what does that mean?
Theoretically, it means it's a good time for speculation.
I hate that word.
Investment, then.
That's better. You say theoretically. Does that mean that you're backing your horses both ways?
There is a bad aspect to Mars.
So what does that mean?
Havoc, problems, is not a time for taking unnecessary risks.
So what are you saying? Sit it out?
For the moment.
I hate that. Being passive doesn't suit me. Bull or bear, it makes no difference. I have to be in there where the action is.
Capricorn, ambitious.
I know. But sometimes we have to wait for our rewards.
That's right.
Is that all?
Yes. Can I ask you something, not sharp?
Of course.
The man in your bath, did you know he was my husband?
No.
Well, he was.
Condolences. I didn't even know you were married.
We split up some time ago. He was a whiz-kid accountant. Had most of his clients up Swiss mountains, listening for cowbells and currency rates.
What went wrong?
Got too clever for himself. Fell foul of the Inland Revenue. That and the dreaded bottle. Cancerians often love their little tipple. Helps conceal their insecurity.
Did you ever discuss me with him?
No.
You sure?
Quite sure. When I was with him, I hadn't met you. Since I've met you, I haven't been with him.
Good morning, Miss Jones.
Inspector?
I have news for you.
Which you were you referring to?
Both. The late Mr. Parker, the gentleman in the bath, didn't kill himself, and he wasn't drowned by accident. He was murdered.
Poor Harry.
Poor Harry.
What happened?
From bruises on the back of his legs and the back of his head, the lab boys have worked out that he was grabbed by his feet. As the legs went up and out, So his head went down and under.
Well, as I told you, I was at the health farm.
I wasn't asking.
I wasn't waiting for you to ask.
Who suggested them, these health farm chips?
Well, originally it was Esther. Esther?
That's true.
Who knew he'd be there? Your chauffeur?
Of course.
He drove you there?
No, I gave him the weekend off. I drove myself down there.
Anybody else?
Well, I hate to say this, but the only other person that springs to mind is you.
Ideas and plans must be clarified and kept simple. This is not, emphasize not the time to take unnecessary chances as far as family and career are concerned. For wives, October is a turning point for good. With Mars also in Aquarius, it's a good time to project both yourself and your plans. End. Okay, love? Yes. Yes, I know, but they don't like close relationships. No, I've told you before. They need to feel free, free as air. That's what they are, an air sign. No, you go and find yourself a nice, cuddly, earthy Taurian. Good and possessive, that's what you want. Okay? Bye.
I think I've just observed Venus ascending.
You've just seen a size 12 redhead getting dressed. She's a hostess in a nightclub, but she's allergic to policemen.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a dye job.
So you've been looking?
I stood behind her in the chemist's.
Oh.
More questions?
A few.
How is it that you always come alone? I thought policemen worked in pairs.
You mean like Friday and...
Crusoe?
Smith. Dragnet. Don't you remember?
Probably before my time.
You're right, it is usual.
And don't you have to caution people about taking things down and using it against them?
Only when you've decided to make a charge.
And you, an impulsive Aryan, are not going to charge.
Time and place.
Place. Now, about this body in Epping Forest, I have a theory.
And I have a question.
Q before tea?
According to the doorman at Aikman's Hotel, that is the hotel beneath the penthouses...
Yes, I know what you mean. Were you ever disappointed
No,
in love?
Please, please. According to the doorman, Aikman received a caller late Sunday night. You.
Correct.
Why?
Simple. I mean, I popped in to discuss some business.
But he'd already told you he wouldn't be there for the weekend.
True.
So?
I forgot.
Like you forgot your bracelet?
I'm forgetful.
Convenient.
It was damned inconvenient often, especially for an astrologer.
Do you have an alibi for the rest of Sunday night?
A professional inquiry or private?
Professional.
No.
Pity.
Girls often don't have overnight alibis, sir.
When did you last see your...
Father?
husband?
Months ago.
How many?
3?
Why did you fall out?
Marry in haste. He was your typical true blue Cancerian. Emotional, sensitive, often depressed.
Shouldn't you have found that out before?
Yes.
Well, why didn't you? Quick glance at the palm.
Says he cynically. But what's so different? Palmists look at palms and policemen look at fingers. I didn't know much astrology then.
Well, if it was such a bad match, why didn't you get shot of him?
The Cancerian sign is the crab. He hung on.
You say you didn't see him for 3 months. You did say 3 months.
Forgetful, yes, but I haven't lost my memory.
And yet, 2 days before he died, one of your checks passed through his account.
Am I a suspect?
This stage of the inquiry, everybody's suspect.
You were disappointed in love, early 20s, yes?
Everyone's suspect, but you're top of my list. What's that for?
Prince. It'll save you sneaking them when I'm not looking.
I did that once. In my hip pocket. Clean forgot about it. Spent a very painful evening in Charing Cross casualty. Face down.
A suspect. I feel quite excited. I knew it was going to be an eventful day.
Well, don't get too carried away. Whenever a man or a woman is murdered, the first suspect is always the surviving spouse.
Spouse? Where do you get these extraordinary words? I should have put that one on my passport. Profession, spouse. Women's lib love you.
Look, if you didn't see him, how is it he got your cheque?
Oh, a rather unerring tenacity. He phoned. I sent it. Don't you believe me?
I could wish your answers were a little more consistent.
If they were untrue, they'd be utterly consistent. Anyway, just because I was married to the man
The
doesn't-
way I see it is this. If someone is murdered in their bath, it helps if you know them. Helps even more if you know them well.
Like a spouse.
Exactly.
Was there any sign of drugs?
Drugs?
I have a feeling he was drugged.
Just a feeling?
Sorry.
Tea leaves playing you up again, are they?
No. He was Cancer. And although Cancer is a water sign and ruled by the moon, he had Neptune badly aspected in his 8th house.
Translation.
The 8th house is known as the house of death.
And?
It was badly aspected by Jupiter in his chart. I looked it up last night.
So, what does that suggest?
Well, added to all the other aspects at the time, it could mean death by drowning or drugs.
You say or drugs. Don't you mean and drugs?
Look, I just know he was drugged.
How can you know?
Look, astrology is interpretative, and if you're the least bit psychic...
Which you, of course, are.
Well, I like to think I am. Anyway, people seem to think I am. Anyway, if you are, it's a great help. It's a friend.
It might be important.
She only wants to chat.
Does she always call at this time?
No, but she's due. We haven't spoken for a couple of weeks, and she's probably just read about Harry's death.
What's her name?
Sally. Sally Vince.
8058. No, I'm sorry, she's not in. Who am I? This is the butler speaking, ma'am. Would you like to leave a message? Yes, Miss Vince. I'll tell her you called. Goodbye.
Well?
Okay. So he was drugged.
I pinged, but there was no reply.
What do you want? Single or double?
Are you Mrs. Letts?
That's right.
I'm Esther.
The vultures gather.
Pardon?
I suppose you've come for his things.
No, I've come to talk to you.
I don't think we've anything to say to each other.
Were you happy?
What business is it of yours?
I'm interested. The police think I'm involved, so I've come to make some inquiries of my own.
So you've come slumming, like Lady Muck. You didn't want to know when he wanted his divorce, did you?
He could have had it any time. He knew that.
I don't believe you.
It's up to you. What was he doing at Aikman's?
You tell me, more your scene than mine, I should think.
Was he on some fiddle? I knew him pretty well, you know.
He didn't talk about it. I don't know what he was doing.
Well, if he didn't talk to you, who would he talk to?
No one.
Oh?
And what's that supposed to mean?
He was moving out.
No.
You're not the first, you know. There was the Irish lady in Holland Park, the Canadian widow.
Shut up! He wasn't going anywhere. I wouldn't have let him.
Wouldn't let him? Or didn't let him?
Why? They killed him. Wasn't that enough?
Any idea what they were looking for?
He hadn't got anything.
He had £300. Where were you when this happened?
Out shopping. I wasn't gone more than half an hour.
Well, we'll send someone to stay with you. Look for prints. Won't find any, of course.
Do you know who was snooping round here yesterday? His wife, little Miss Starstruck.
Odd.
You think so?
Obviously you don't.
Well, she's involved in it, isn't she? It's obvious.
What are you making?
Gazpacho. More tea?
No, thanks.
What you can smell is chicken Yolanda. It's a Geminian dinner party.
So it has to be a mixture. Sweet and sour, tall and short, hetero and homo.
You're really getting yourself together.
The thing is, have you had a look at your own horoscope recently?
Yes.
I don't like the look of it. I see a stranger in blue, with a tall hat and shiny handcuffs. Got a piece of paper folded in his pocket, with a name on it. Yours.
I'm going to be nicked.
The very word. May only be circumstantial, but the evidence is piling up like drifting snow.
For instance?
For instance, what were you doing at the hotel?
Well, I went to suss out... You say suss? Mrs. Letts.
And?
Well, we didn't hit it off, but she hardly looks like a murderess.
Hardly.
So... all in all, things look pretty bleak.
Well, work it out for yourself. Logical suspects are thin on the ground. I'm being pressurized to make an arrest. The bloodhounds of Fleet Street are beginning to howl.
Suddenly it doesn't seem funny anymore.
Why don't you chart your way out of it? Come up with a real murderer.
How?
Oh, that's your department.
Well, I suppose I could try. Now, the first thing I'll need to know is the exact time of Harry's death.
Between 1 and 3 a.m. I can't be more specific than that.
Well, it's a start. Now, I set up a horary chart for about that time. It won't be as accurate as I like, but... Now, he was Cancer. Cancerians don't often get on with their opposite sign.
Which is?
Capricorn, and those signs which make bad angles in a solar chart. The aggressive Aries.
Thank you.
And the freedom-loving Libra.
Oh. Well, that's not bad for openers. You've eliminated about 3/4 of the population.
True.
You've left us with about 17 million to choose from. What's your average Capricorn look like?
Well, he's not the gayest of chaps.
Or chapesses.
As you say, they're often materialistic, obstinate, intolerant, usually ambitious, and with a good deal of inner strength.
As is almost everybody I know.
They're often late starters. Don't come into their own until after 30.
I used to say that about me. I amended it till after 40.
Capricorn rules the 10th house. Career, prestige, and reputation. Oh, yes. One last thing. He or she will have had short fingernails.
How? How can you say that?
Because if he didn't, there'd have been scratch marks down poor Harry's legs.
It was in the safe downstairs. I'd forgotten all about it.
I'm surprised he needed one.
So was I. Mostly papers. Part of his bookkeeping.
Income and expenditure account for the year ending April 68. Name of the company? I wonder who the... Where's your phone?
At the bottom of the stairs.
First, there was a square between Mars and Uranus affecting the house of death. Secondly, that opposition to Capricorn.
It's my call, you know, my two penneth.
Sorry, but
I should be allowed to get a word in edgewise.
Look, you just did. Now, may I continue?
No, I have something to tell you.
Go on.
Your late lamented was in the blackmail business.
How do you know?
We've just found some of his ammunition. You still there?
Still there.
Surprised?
Not entirely.
Oh. Well, I've saved the best bit till last. His next victim was...
Aikman?
How? Just tell me how.
Well, I was about to.
Not that opposition to Capricorn.
Of course. In...
Opposition to Cancer. How long have you been Mr. Aikman's chauffeur, George?
5 years.
Good years?
Yeah, great. I mean, the mileage we do doesn't justify a motor scooter, let alone a Rolls.
It doesn't go out much.
Not much. Like he says, he's been out. Now he's staying in.
You had last weekend off, didn't you?
Right,
He drove himself.
right.
I suppose in this rarefied atmosphere you never check your mileage clock.
Wrong. Always log your journeys. Can't be too careful. Destination, mileage, gallons. Rich as they are, they can be funny devils.
When you left for the weekend, did you see what the mileage read?
13,700.
Oh. You haven't had a look since?
245,000.
Where did he go? Tibet?
Bust. Spring's gone.
Convenient.
More coffee?
Please. How's my future looking?
Black?
I said my future, not my coffee.
I did Harry's chart for the day he died.
Harry?
The corpse in the bath.
Oh, yes.
No, Capricorns and Cancers don't often make the best of friends. Opposites and all that, earth and water, not necessarily a good combination.
So?
So, for the fun of it, I decided to look around for a Capricorn who might have opposed him, like, fatally so.
Did you find one?
Oh, yes.
Anyone I know?
You?
I see. Congratulations, Esther, my dear. This is all the makings of a new parlor game. Then what did you do?
I did your chart for the exact same period of time.
Ah. All sounds very ugly. Came in today from Kingston.
On Thames.
Jamaica. Good, isn't it?
Well, as long as it doesn't ruin your beauty sleep.
Not me. 8 hours solid, soon as my head touches the pillows. No trouble.
Although you had a prescription for Sonoril made up only last Tuesday.
That didn't come out of any astrologer's handbook. Well, how about motive? Shouldn't that figure somewhere?
How about blackmail?
Go on.
Harry was blackmailing you.
Well, apart from the fact that I never actually met him, what was he using against me? Hot air?
Oh, various accounts and details of your financial coups. The early ones, the less savoury ones. Stockpiled for when he worked for your auditors. I found them this morning in a safe deposit box in the bank. No comment.
I never realized that you thought so little of me.
Why do you say that?
Well, you really think I'd be crass enough to murder a man, and of all places in my own bath?
Why not? You don't like to be beaten. And when it's a matter of ambition, Capricorns aren't too particular which methods they use. Especially if the rewards are good enough.
More brandy?
Please.
Tell me, as you say, for the fun of it, how did I do it? Did I mug him with a loofah or get him to slip on the soap?
You drugged him.
How?
Sonoril in his whiskey?
Go on.
Then you drove back to the health farm.
Ah, sorry to disappoint you, but I have an alibi. Guilt-edged.
That's for the police to dispose of. Then you drove down here. You found him dozing in the bath or half asleep in here, I don't know which. Then you pushed him under the water and returned from whence you came.
You know, I think Agatha would suit you better than Esther.
The fish was salty, wasn't it? We were licking your lips as though your mouth were dry.
Look, if you believe all this, Esther, my dear, you ought to pop along and tell Lily Law.
9:30 tomorrow morning. I have an appointment.
What do they say about the safety deposit box?
I haven't told them yet.
Blackmail is an ugly business.
So is murder. that you, darling? What are you doing?
Sorry about this, Esther. Still, it's a nice, clean finish.
Did you book?
I like a nice, clean finish.
Don't fidget.
Good. Be firm. They like that.
Fidgets are undisciplined, unable to control their emotions. Yes, this is one of the most psychic hands I've ever seen. Lovely long fingers. Mystic cross.
Great.
On.
On, definitely. Spare me nothing.
Pinky, the sun finger. Love of art, all things beautiful. Little temper, perhaps. Perhaps.
Excellent, Gran.
Perky, the brain finger. Verbal, witty, love of excitement. How am I doing?
Fantastic. There's no other word for it. Now, what's it all about?
Well, you see, the annual Met Ball is coming up in 2 weeks' time. Strict tempo arrests and all that.
Yes.
Dear Stalkers Unite, you know the kind of thing.
Don't we all?
Well, I have to find a partner.
Of course.
And I thought if I could add palmistry to my other natural talents.
Yes.
You see, I've just met this gorgeous girl. Long blonde hair, green eyes, retroussé nose, lovely smile. There's only one problem. She's the assistant commissioner's secretary.